Hi everyone, my name is Jayteen and I'm going to show you how I turned this island into a nice little hot spring hangout. So first, I know the island was too small for what I wanted to do, so I had to go and extend it, make it a little bit bigger. So I started with using some ocean rock, actually some white rock, to just extend the base. And then I went in with some of the seashell soil and some of the seashell grass to make it in line. And I was careful not to make it look too uniform, so I wanted a little areas that kind of stuck out a little bit more than other areas, so it didn't look too basic. So I wanted to make this area a little bit raised. I didn't want it to just sit right in the island itself, so it added a little bit more luxury to it. So I started with some stone steps, and then I added in the diagonal hardwood floor, and this was going to make the base of my entire little area here. I had to fill in the old hot spring area with some regular soil there, so we got that done, and then we went and continued extending the base with the hardwood. I used a brick wall to kind of border the whole entire area. Now in the end, this isn't the decision I went with, and you'll see how that goes. But then I took some of the vertical logs. I made this about a 5x7 area. This was going to be my central pavilion, and I made it 3 logs high here. I'm using the regular orange, kind of terracotta looking roof for this. I realized this was not as big as I want it to be. So my goal was to make a little area that had a like changing area on the side here. So I needed to extend the island further. So I did the same thing as before. I used the white rock to make the base, used the soil to kind of add the texture, and then topped it off with some of either the soil or the grass. So the building here that's going to be the changing area, I was going to make it about 3 tiles by 5 tiles wide, so I needed to make sure that the area was big enough to that and for that, and also take into account the border, so I had to extend it a little bit further here. So once I had that done, I went and continued my border here. And then I was like, you know what? I don't like this brick wall. Let me change it to a different style of brick. Note to self, I still hated this brick later on, but here we are. This is not the final border. So now we're starting the changing area. I used brick wall to make the corners, and I made it about 2 tiles high. And then I used some brown painted plaster to make the walls, only walling in 3 sides because the front side is going to be where the actual changing areas are. I used the same orange terracotta tiled roof for this. So in order to put the logs on the top, you have to have plaster underneath. So I put plaster wall underneath, placed the logs on top, and then I went from the underside and I actually deleted them. The logs will still hang out on top, but then you still have a bit of an open ceiling. So I'm going to do the actual roof of the pavilion here. I end up having to do the same thing on the top as I did to the little changing area with the plaster. To get the roof have the logs on the top as well. Now I'm going to add some string lights along the two sides. I was contemplating putting it around the whole thing, but then I figured that might be a little bit overkill. Adding in the closets or the changing areas, and then a little partition because nobody wants to change with other people right there. Now I'm going to make the actual hot spring area. So this is the size that I decided to do. I just wanted it to be for more or less just square, but I needed to get rid of the underlying grass because I wanted it to have that soil bottom. And then you add some roserade tea in there to make it a hot and spicy bath. And then I'm adding the little hot spring spouts and some wood stairs for an entrance and exit. Now I'm adding some fence for a border here just to kind of close it off from everything else and give it a little bit of a finishing touch. I did end up running out, so I'll come back and do the rest later at some point. But I realized here that I actually was going to need to make an entrance area because I wanted to add in some showers. So I removed some areas, added in some more of the hardwood tiling here so that I could make a little walkway and some showers out back from the changing hut, which again meant I needed to make my island bigger. So I went in again with the white rock and then the soil and then the grass to make it appropriately sized for both the showers and enough room for a border and a little bit of some room for some landscaping on the outside. So I'm adding in my border back, and then I'm going to add in some grates because that's where the shower will drain into. We'll add a partition so that you can't spy on the person who's showering beside you or the Pokemon who's showering beside you. Pop those showers in. And then I'm just going to fix the roof so that it will overhang over top of the shower area. So same thing as before, plaster first, logs up top, and then delete the log or the plaster that's underneath there. I'm going to put some more cobblestone at the entrance there, and then I'm going to start using the resort stools to put some little seating areas around the side of the hot spring. I'm using the surface lights to just illuminate around the edge of the hot spring and the edges and kind of perimeter of the area in general. Didn't have enough power, so I had to add in some of the wireless transmitters, so I popped those underground. My entire Bleak Beach is all underground in terms of its power supply, so I just go down to 2 blocks or so, put the transmitter, and then put my block on the top. I put some of these lights around the shower area, and then a few more surface lights on the inside of the hot spring itself. I used some wooden tables to make a nice little seating area under the pavilion. More of the resort stools for some seating. And then I use the little tea set in the middle and a resort light up top, which again needed more power, so I put those wireless transmitters in there. Some string lights on the front and the back. Again, more power needed to put it underground. And then I started my landscaping. I brought execute, oh my gosh, with me to landscape because I don't have the actual flowers themselves in my inventory, just seeds. So I just kind of put some stuff here and there. I wanted to make it not look super uniform and more natural. So I just walked around, had this guy follow me, and he just grew everything as I planted it. And then I changed the border again. So ultimately I decided that the stone was nice, and I did end up liking that decision. But I went through one brick wall, another type of brick, I went through the foundation block, and then I was like, okay, you know what, stone is the tech. And then here's the finished product. You can see with the trees all grown, but it looks really nice. In the daytime it looks nice, not in the dreary nighttime rain. But I'm really happy with everything, and my Pokemon really liked it. I'll see you next time with some more very basic beginner Pokopia builds.